I'm Ann Shaw. I'm an architectural historian, archaeologist, and Hoosier. I love exploring Indiana's history and lesser-known sites and stories. Join me as we explore old houses, museums, historic sites, and archaeology throughout the state. This is AnneArchy. Hi, we're at Angel Mounds today in Evansville, Indiana, and I am here with Mike Linderman. Mike, what do you do here?
I am the site director for Angel Mounds State Historic Site.
And you also manage several other state museum historic sites around southern Indiana, right?
I do. I'm a regional for the Southwest region, so I have Vincennes and New Harmony also.
And how many years have you been here?
20 years.
Okay, very good. Can you tell us a little bit about Angel Mounds?
It is a Middle Mississippian site, which is a culture that thrived about 900 to 1450. Angel site is more like 1000 to 1450. By 1450, we're pretty sure the place was abandoned by these people. It is a mound building site, one of the last groups to build mounds in North America. And their mounds are status symbols. The larger the mound they would have constructed the prominent people's homes on, the more important they were. The bulk of the people would have lived around the mounds. And the misconception is these are burial mounds, and we do not have burial mounds on the village site here.
Okay, so it was a very status symbol for somebody to live on top of a mound.
I tell school children the mounds are the mansions here on the site.
And everybody else lived around.
Correct.
How many people do you think lived here?
The best guess is at the zenith, about 2,000 people were living here on the site.
Did they have a trade network of other areas around them?
Yeah, there's a lot of trade items found here at the site. We think regionally they controlled an area 75 miles up and down the Ohio River. You go downriver, you run into the influence of the Kincaid site, and then you get into the Cahokia sites. Control over there. But we have copper from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan found here on the site.
Wow.
Fluorite. We also have a few pieces of obsidian that are found here. So yeah, they were trading. We have conch shells from the ocean found at the site.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long have people been doing archaeology here?
Archaeology began in April of 1939 with the WPA crew. There were 277 men hired by the federal government to come to the site and do the excavations. Up until the start of the Second World War, they were going on here.
And who led those excavations?
Glenn Black, who's probably the most well-known archaeologist from the state of Indiana, he started here in April '39 and he lived here until his death in 1964.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do people still dig here?
Occasionally, we still are the official field school location for the Glenn Black Lab of Archaeology. We haven't had a dig since 2013 on the site, but there's been some remote sensing work done since then as well.
I noticed that there is a mound across the street from the Angel Mound property.
Mm-hmm.
Is that related to Angel Mounds?
It is on our property, however, it is not related to the mounds that are in the main village site. It is about 1,000 years older than them, and it is the classic burial mound, we believe. Some testing was done on it several years ago, and we believe there's still a hollow chamber in the middle of the mound.
But we like to preserve those things.
Exactly. We leave it as it is.
Did they have a way to protect themselves?
Yeah, there was a wall built around, we're thinking 1350, 1400, that went almost all the way around the northern edge of the site. It may have gone along the riverfront side as well, but that area has eroded away quite a lot, so we don't have any evidence there. But it was a fortified town, which most Mississippian sites become around 1350, 1400.
Was there a lot of warfare during that time period?
That's the big question. Why were the walls built? We think it ties in with this little ice age and food dwindling, and people are maybe moving south from the north, and they fortify these towns. Cahokia was the same way. Kincaid was the same way. But we have no evidence of a war or an attack here at the site. They were ready for something.
What would their houses have looked like?
They were basically square. They had wattle and daub walls, which is basically mud and sticks, and then they had a thatched roof on top.
So there were thousands of people living here. What would they have eaten?
Corn was a huge staple. If you come to the site, the parking lot area and all that, we believe were the cornfield that surrounded the outside of the wall area of the site. A lot of wild game, deer bones, one of the more prominently found remains here on the site. Of their food, fish, turkey, just about everything we have today except for black bear. We don't have the black bear anymore.
And would their corn have looked the same as the corn we eat today?
It did not. It was very short cobs. They were a southern variety of corn, maybe 4 or 5 inches long. and that may have also led to the demise of the site. Being a southern variety during the Little Ice Age in North America, 1300-ish, the corn probably started doing as well as it could have done, and they started to dwindle in their resources.
How can you tell that civilizations were eating corn in their diet?
That comes from the analysis of the bone that they're found here on the site. I'm not nerdy enough to know the details of that one.
It's their teeth.
There you go. See, I didn't know. I tell people there were not pretty smiles on the people here in Angel Mound. A lot of their teeth were worn down from the sugar in the corn and from the grit from the sand when they were grinding the corn.
And what would they use to hunt game?
The classic bow and arrow, and then we also have atlatl being used here on the site.
Can you explain what an atlatl is?
Yeah, it's basically a spear, but then you have a special handle that gives you more thrust. You thrust it instead of throwing the spear with your hand, you're flinging it with this extra handle.
It gives you a lot more speed and distance.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. If somebody wanted to come visit Angel Mounds, how would they do that?
We're open every day of the week except for Mondays, 10 to 5 every day. Closed, major holidays, but generally speaking, we're usually open except for Mondays.
Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next time.